So we will be continuing with the pipelines and pipeline runs for this Tekton series, and we will refer to the same GitHub repo. So in this particular GitHub repo, we can go to the pipelines and pipeline runs directory. So I'm having 3 YAML files here, and obviously commands.sh for the commands that we need to execute. So let's understand first what are the tasks present. So in this particular YAML file related to the task, we are passing one parameter, repo URL, repository URL. So this task basically validates a GitHub repository URL and extracts the project name. So let's understand what exactly it is doing. And it will provide two results. So one is the repo name and one is the repository host. So like it identifies the hosting services GitHub or GitLab and like repository name extracted from the URL. So in the step, first of all, it's using the same Alpine image, and in the repo URL environment variable, we are passing the value from the parameter that whatever we will provide during the execution. And in this basic shell script, so what it is doing, it is validating whether the value for that repo URL variable coming from the parameter is either GitHub or GitLab, and if it is something else apart from these two, it will error out and the task will fail. And then it is extracting the repo name, so with this basic commands, and then it will print the host and the repo name. So these are going as a results finally, like whatever result we have specified here. And then comes the another task, which is run check. So it is just simulating like a code quality check, not exactly doing actual quality check, but just a simulation for understanding and testing of pipelines, pipeline runs along with tasks. So in this particular task, we are having two parameters, like what is the check type and the repository name. And in the results, we are giving back the status of the task, like the lint status. And because the check type will be the lint related to the, we can say like whether the code is properly formatted or not, and the finding count. So yeah. And then in the steps for it, we are using the same image, and the environment variables are there, check type and repository name. So these are again referred from the parameters that we will provide the value for. And the script is just doing simulation. So yeah, and the check type is complete, it will return it. So the check type is just printing the value whatever we will provide during execution. And then the like it is passing whether the quality check was passed or not, and the dollar count, like how many findings are there. So statically we have set it to 0 because this is just kind of simulation. And then another task, which is like providing the quality report. So we are having multiple parameters here, like the repository name, that will be extracted from the first task output, the repository host as well from the first task output, the lint status and the findings are again coming from the second task output. And yeah, so these are the parameters. And okay, I think, and then it is giving a summary of the result. And in the steps, as usual, the shell script where repo name, host, lint status, and the type of test are getting like value from the parameters. So like these are the subsequent tasks, and the output of the first task will be input of that upcoming task. So this is like that. And then if we go to the pipeline, so this is the pipeline, and in the pipeline, we are just providing the metadata, things like the name of the pipeline, basic annotations, and then the spec section, we are passing the parameter, like because all those tasks which will be executed are expecting the values for the required parameters. So that's why for the repo URL, we are giving this particular repository, and the revision is like the main branch we are passing. And in the results, it is giving this quality summary, basically the summary report coming up from the last task. And in the pipeline, so we are specifying like how many tasks are there in total. So in the first task, which is the validation task, so we are referring to the validate repo task where it is identifying what is the GitHub repo and the host, the exact repository. So that's why this is the name of the first task, validate repo. If I go back to the task.yaml, you can see the validate repo, and similarly other tasks will be referred. And coming back to the pipeline, so the repo URL is getting the parameter value from here, and then the other task, which is run check. So it is performing of the check type of the lint, and the repo name is referred from the repo name will be uh, referred from the initial task output that we will get from here. Like once this task gets completed, the output will be referred here. And then the other task, which is to validate. So what is the check type, repo name, and here we can see the another run check coming from the task. And then finally generate report. And then comes the pipeline run. So in this pipeline run, we are just referring that pipeline YAML that we will be creating. So that pipeline is getting referred here, and the parameters are passed here again. So task run specification is like the pipeline task name are coming here. So the pipeline task name is lint and the allocated resources for it, and the another pipeline task name, which is test. So if I go back to the pipeline YAML, so here you can see the multiple tasks are there, validate and then test. So all these things are coming up here. All right, so let's do one thing. I have already cloned this repository here, and I am having all this directory. So I will go to this directory where pipelines and pipeline runs YAML files are present. And as you all know, in this repository, I have given the reference guide. So I will go to that reference guide. And in this reference guide, I will move to pipelines section. So all these YAMLs are there. So let's move to the command section. And first, I will be applying the tasks. So if I apply it, so as you can see, it created all three tasks, and I can run tk tasks list. So as you can see, these three tasks just got created: quality report, run check, and validate repo. And now we can apply the pipeline YAML as well. So yeah, pipeline YAML is applied, and we can describe and list the pipelines with this command. You can pipeline list. So you can see this is the pipeline, and we can describe it as well with this command. Tk pipeline describe and the pipeline name. So as you can see, it is having total 4 tasks in it, and these two parameters related to the repositories and branch. And then we can start this particular pipeline. Like basically, it will start this task interactively if we execute it with the command. So what I mean, if I run this pipeline with this command manually, it will prompt me for these details, like what is the repo URL, what is the revision main branch. So this is how it is executing that pipeline. So as you can see, the first task is like validating the repo URL, got the host out of it, it is GitHub, the repo name is pipeline. So, and passing these outputs to the another task, like executing checks, simulating the work. So this is how the pipeline run completed. And if I run OC get pod, you can see multiple pods are there because it generated the report, that last task, and then the lint check, the test, and validating and all. So if I run tk pipeline run list, you can see that particular pipeline run is there. But let's say we don't want to run it interactively. Instead, we want to pass it with the YAML with all the required parameters. Then we can apply that another resource, which is PipelineRun YAML, which is having everything. So if I execute this one, and we can run the tk pipeline run list again. So we can see this new pipeline run just created, and we can check the logs for it. So yeah, it is there. It is also completed. And we can describe this particular pipeline run with this command, tk pipeline run, describe the name of it. So yeah, the same thing are coming that we provided in the YAML, and we can check the task runs, like all these tasks were completed successfully. So we can get like all the task run uh, related to this particular pipeline by this command. So in this command, we are just passing this kubelet get task runs with the selector because the particular label is getting applied, like tekton.dev/pipeline run and the name of the pipeline. So you can see these are the task runs. And if you want to check all these things on the UI, like basically Tekton Dashboard, we can open the dashboard. So first of all, if I run kubectl get svc hyphen and Tekton pipelines, you can see the dashboard services there on port 9097. I can do port forwarding for it. And on the localhost, I can access it. So let's go back to the web browser. And here, this is our dashboard. And in the dashboards, we can see everything, like what is the task. So for all the namespaces, it is showing. So these for the tasks present, like the pipelines and the pipeline runs. So everything can be verified from here. So yeah, that was it for this particular session. Thanks a lot.